Welcome everyone to another episode of the Safety Roundtable. And thank you for joining us once again for this important safety leadership panel discussion. We are once again joined by an outstanding panel of experienced leaders from across safety ecosystem. Joining us today is Mr. Urvesh Wala, who brings deep expertise in materials, integrity engineering, green hydrogen, and advanced industrial systems. We also have Mr. Vivek Asthana, a senior EHS and sustainability leader with decades of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. Joining us as well is Mr. Subarao, an experienced risk and governance advisor who brings strong leadership enterprise risk perspective to safety. And also we have with us Dr. Steffi James, an academic, trainer, and safety professional with extensive experience in safety education. Thank you all once again for being part of this important discussion on solving safety challenges in India. Over the years, we have had many discussions around safety, and one thing has become very clear: awareness is not the real challenge anymore. Most people already understand the importance of safety, whether it's wearing a helmet, fastening a seatbelt, or following basic safety practices, the knowledge is already there. If we step outside and speak to people on the streets of India, almost everyone will say that safety matters. Yet, despite this awareness, unsafe behavior continue to exist in our daily life. That is where the real challenge lies, bridging the gap between what we know and what we do actually in practice. Today's conversation is therefore not just about repeating the problems. Instead, it's moving the conversation towards practical and scalable solutions. How do we encourage behavior change? How do we make safety a consistent habit rather than just a regulation? And most importantly, how do different stakeholders come together to create a long-term impact? Because safety cannot be addressed by one group alone. Governments, industries, technology providers, educators, enforcement agencies, communities, and citizens all have an important role to play in building a stronger safety culture in India. This conversation is an opportunity to explore ideas, share experiences, and discuss actionable solutions that can help move us from awareness to implementation and from discussion to measurable impact. Thank you once again for joining us today. And to kick off our conversation today, I would like to put forward our first question. How can different stakeholders like government, industry, educators, technology providers, and citizens, they can work together to reduce safety-related injuries in India? So who wants to go first?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can.
Vivek sir.
Vivek,
Okay.
sir.
Oh, sorry, Urvesh, if you want, you can lead, please.
Okay, so let me start. So, the question is very straightforward. That what is the meaning of safety with respect to nation uh, as a goal? And what I understand from the present scenario of oil and gas industries, what I recently we have one failure in HRR. You heard that before Prime Minister visit, the one day before that get fired because of some safety issues at Chararel site in one of the
Mhm.
unit, and it was very close to all the setup which is there for uh, the Prime Minister's opening ceremony. So the
Mhm.
thing is if you see the report which published. There the safety is normally where that if the pressure is high and the things are to be checked with respect to the flange connections. So those are very simple philosophy for us to address, but it was not addressed correctly, and because of that, that hydrocarbon charge get out of the joint, flange joint, and
Mhm.
spread over the refinery, and it catch the fire. So as of now, what we understand is that safety that is very much important with respect to the processes where the steps is to be followed very correct. So the flange joint connections was prepared for the hydro test and mechanical clearance. But then after they have to check once again for the right insulating gaskets are placed and joints are equipped for that pressure and temperature for the hydrocarbon which going to pass through that particular line is to be checked very clear. So the problem here is safety normally having a very high value focused activity. However, there are many cases where uh, the fire and explosive hazard material handling is a issue with respect to the awareness required at site. So this is what the takeaway for that particular incident. Thank you.
Okay. Vivek sir, you want to say something?
Yes, Ambar. In fact, collectively, Indian government, private sector, and we must think over it actually, because we should not bear so many accidents, so many road accidents, so many industrial accidents. And apart from this, it is true that GDP growth in GDP, it is also required for our survival. Okay, but I don't see the clear cut vision regarding safety. We have vision for our greenhouse gas emissions, like we have signed this Paris Agreement also. Okay, but we do not have any vision for this accident reduction. So first, Indian government, this is my suggestion, Indian government may set a vision like we can have a zero accident by the 2000, zero road accident by year 2030, and we may have a zero industry fatalities by 2040. Okay, so after finalization of this vision, we may prepare a roadmap how we can proceed further with this to achieve this vision. Okay, so Amber, presently, I think with all of us, including government also, we must think out of the box. For example, why don't we involve people and community in this? See the example of Indore. Indore is the most clean city in India, and it could not be done through the involvement of people. Okay, so that district administration, it can involve people. It can start drives to prevent road accident, and for to prevent industrial accident also in their areas, in their particular districts. Okay, so one thing, involvement of people and community. Next thing is strong governance. Governance meaning, we have a dish, Department of Industrial Health and Safety. Okay, if I compare it with environmental aspects, we have earlier we had pollution control board, MOEF, but now we have NGT, National Green Tribunal. So likewise, we can have similar authority. You can say that first this safety governance, National Safety Tribunal or National Safety Authority. Okay, it may have in place, and it should be empowered. Right, this agency must have power to stop, to give this closure notice if they find there is a serious violation of safety norms. And second thing, we cannot see the things from a same level. For example, same safety standards cannot be applicable for in chemical industry and cement industry or steel industry. Okay, my second suggestion is government, there should be, or this agency must form specific standards. Okay, so these standards may be specific for all the industry, for pharma industry, for chemical industry, for steel industry. They have different standards. But important thing is this: while forming these standards, do not forget to imbibe safety culture. Correct. Standards should. This is the out of the box thinking. Standards should include the top involvement of top management. Presently, what is happening? There is a safety department, EHS department, and responsibility lies with this. Okay. And all the returns, all the data is being filled by safety department and given to EHS department, and to handle the government officer, we have license. Okay. They take care. But This agency, National Safety Tribunal, this must be an authority for surprise visits also. And there should be certain parameters related to safety culture, like how top management is showing its commitment towards safety. For example, what are the KPIs? How many inspections done by top management? What are the gambas? How much budget is allocated to this? How much are the pending kappas of previous incidents? So there must be certain 20 to 25 KPIs or 10 to 15 KPIs. These must be reviewed by top management and should be digitalized, informed to government of India. This is the status of my industry.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay.
So then only we can, unless the Amar, there is a रामायण में एक ये है कि भय बिना प्रीत नहीं होती. करेक्ट ना. तो एक भय जरूरी है. गवर्नमेंट का एक कल्चर चेंज और हम सेफ्टी की बात करते हैं तो वो ये चीज बहुत जरूरी है कि इसको हम इम्बाइब करें टेक्निकली और इम्बाइब करें थ्योरेटिकली. करेक्ट.
राइट.
So this thing, nice thing is, see, regarding I think our last meeting, somebody, I think Subbarao sir or Urvesh has suggested that education system. It is very important. Indian government, my suggestion is to Indian government to look into the whole education system in a holistic way. We must teach our children from the lower KG and upper KG standards about the safety discipline, about the basic safety rules. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
First thing. Second thing is the curriculum of our engineering department, engineering professionals, and chemicals engineers, civil engineers, and mechanical engineers, when they pass through this college and come to this come to the shop floor, so they miss the safety aspects. Chemical engineers, they have only degree, but they do not about the process safety aspects.
Right, sir.
Okay, how to implement process safety? What are MIE, minimum emission energy, dust explosion, and all the things? Okay, so all the things, process safety must be the part of this the particular stream. Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Or next, my suggestion is we are talking, being an ESG personnel, we talk about the ESG, and ESG has been integrated, as I told you before this starting of our conversation, that safety has become the essential integral part of social part. And industry will have to give this incident statistics, incident rate, and all the things. What are the procedures, safety procedures? They will have to disclose in their report to Indian government. But again, see, industries are working on the national guidelines on responsible business conduct, which are issued by the Ministry of Corporate, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Correct. So this Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they have 9 principles, and based on these 9 principles, they have formed business responsibility and sustainability.
Sir, my question is, we have all these standards, we have everything written, but we still don't follow it. Why is that the case? The problem is why we are not following that.
This is Amar. This is all about that. That's why I am telling you, na bhai bina preet nahi hoti. We will have to imbibe the system, and strong administration, strong governance should be there. And knowledge is okay. Knowledge is it is essential part. But see, if I go to the railway station, I behave differently. When I go to this airport, I will behave entirely differently. So basically, we should make our system like airport, so that anyone who is coming to your system, he must behave like he's like as we behave on airport. Correct?
Right, sir.
So
okay, sir.
This was my view only.
Yes, sir. Let's bring Subbarao sir into this thing. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, before I go into this thing, just one small clarification I want to keep. Vivek sir, actually, government announced that they want to reduce road accidents by 50% by 2030. So that was a scheme which they launched. So under that, a lot of initiatives are being done. But then the crucial thing, according to me, that is missing in this initiative, One is that we are selling, we are very happy saying that we are the third largest automobile industry now in the world. Fine. But I feel the effort from the automobile sellers can be further strengthened. Because if you are selling, say, 2 million two-wheelers, and we know clearly that there are no schools offering how to drive a two-wheeler, the kind of education, just giving a booklet and saying that, okay, you learn from this, because how they are learning? They are learning from someone who is already having 50% bad habits. So on top of it, you are learning from him. So you tend to think that is right, because what the guru teaches, you tend to follow. So that's one part of the story, sir. So I feel one of the things that need to be strengthened, according to me, I'll come one by one. For road accidents is we have improved our roads. Definitely, if you see in the last 10 years, definitely there is a 100% improvement in our highways. We have expressways, we have lots of things in place. But did we teach people on how to drive on those roads is my question. So where is the course and who is doing it? So that's one part of the story. So as far as the industry is concerned, I can't name the state, but one state is planning to release a policy document of having zero fatalities in by 2037. Okay, yes, but a huge debate there, because the one of the things that was discussed threadbare is that how do we make the occupier very responsible? Because today occupier is there. I should not say it is on the paper, but then the kind of involvement occupier can have is minimal, because I'm also occupier for one factory actually. So, but the number of decisions I take with respect to factory are limited, right? Only at certain time I get this thing. So, how do we improve the capabilities of the occupier was one of the biggest debates that's going on. The second thing is that, as you very rightly said, one person cannot inspect 1,000 factories. So, how do we strengthen the mechanism of doing audits properly? Those kind of mechanisms. So, system wise, then people wise, and then management wise. There are three things that are being worked out, because zero fatality cannot be achieved, whether it's a decade or 2 decades, unless all the things come together. Now, coming to the point of your question, Amber, that you have all the laws, but then why is that things are not so rosy at the ground level? The point is we have all the laws, but the implementation or the understanding is, requires a lot of attention. So a lot of it is being seen as more as requirements from the statutory authorities rather than de-risking my operations. There is a lot of difference. So somebody asked, I do, but I do it because it is less risky for me. So these two things are different. So unless that awareness comes, that what are we doing, or whatever we are doing is to reduce our own risk associated with our operations, things won't improve. That's one part of the story. The second part of the story is that a lot of things can be corrected at the design stage. I feel majority of the times we are not subjecting our designs to enough questioning from variety of angles. As Vivek sir very rightly said, from the environment side, there is a lot of trust or a lot of awareness among various people, because you can't see, for example, setting up of an industry, EAA is a big process, and in that public consultation is a big process. So there you have to disclose. But with respect to safety also it is there, but nobody has on that, because when an environment gets spoiled, either is a water or an emission or a dust, people can feel it immediately. But a safety thing manifests over a period of time. Accident doesn't happen on the day one, right? You don't wear a helmet, you don't get injured on the day one. So what happens? The design deficiencies are not questioned enough. So we need to strengthen a lot at the design stage how we can improve safety. That is the second thing. Now, the third point, which then accident was referred about at the pre-startup time. I feel again time pressure as an important point in this, especially when you take shutdown maintenance or pre-startup safety review. And who is doing it? What is their capability? And what is the kind of thing we are preparing ourselves for that kind of eventuality? So if we are not following those steps, you find that these incidents get repeated again and again and again. So in nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that the existing systems, how effective we can implement on the ground level, right? Currently, if it is at 40%, if it can be improved to even 50, 60%. If you look at our codes, National Electric Code or NBC or new OSH code, OSH rules is 319 pages. So at least there will be 100 action points. And if these 100 action points can be implemented with the true spirit, I feel the accidents can be coming down. So there should be more debate on how do we implement, or how does success look like in implementing those things. If that thing is, if you can move away from we are doing it for the statutory versus it is for our safety, a lot of things will improve.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just want to add one thing here. Like the Factory Act 1948 is very elaborately says about safety. Even if we say PASO, there or OISD or PNGRB, if you see any standard or regulatory requirements, which is very clearly specified for hazardous chemical rules and the associated safety. Even if you see the bridge and other constructions, now we are listening that every here and there the bridge get collapsed. What is the reason of those particular bridge get collapsed? The reason is the periodic health assessment for those bridge with respect to the strength of rebar and concrete and the corrosions which is there with that particular system is monitored regularly or not. So even we have one projects which I'm undertaking is for the health assessment of the water table gate for ships to pass. So there is a two gate system where water logging is there and then it pass. So here the safety standards need to be at very high level. So what is our takeaway for such things is like the metallic in industry we are more worried in the metallic sense, but not for the concrete and rebar strength to verify. And that is not addressed correctly. So safety with respect to such buildings and the bridge and infrastructures related things is to be put into the new level. As such, there is some system. I'm not saying there is no system available, but as of now, the problem is that how it is seriously addressed and the reports are really uh, put in front of the right persons for taking the decisions for strengthening the bridge and all other assets. So those points are really good for us to know.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So,
But I think if we can give some practical suggestions, that would be useful
yes.
so that the listeners can get a benefit on
Yes, sir.
how we can make the, say, leadership play active role, or supervisors and workmen follow safety. What is that? We are trying different things. I think that would be of interest to the audience.
Right. Yes, sir. I mean, there is a lot of barrier. Like, no, there's a lot of solutions. Like from government, everyone is doing things, but still there are barriers to implementation, and not solutions are not there.
So, in the sense, see, we are trying to wish away the problem rather than trying to solve the problem. We feel that time will solve problems. Okay, that's what Geeta said, but I agree with that. But then you and me won't be there to see the solution. So, or the person, so time won't solve all the problems. The problem will remain. Only you get immune to what you are seeing. So, some concrete action needs to be taken. The second thing, the one more thing also I want to bring to the attention of everyone here. I always use this term. A lot of the management suffer from what I call it as dangerous clarity.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, because we are so firm that why accidents are happening, we are not willing to listen to any other opinion. Right? We feel that accident has happened only this way. You see, I keep meeting. At least the people I meet at the very top, 40% are having dangerous clarity. So when you meet a person with clarity, you can't explain anything because everything he knows and what he thinks is correct.
Okay.
So what happens is that at the ground level, the things are different. So that we need to correct. Actually, sometimes it appears to me like it's more like a communication problem rather than the real issue in some companies. There's nothing wrong in that, but then the communication that what you are doing is completely wrong. So if you can improve the communication, or if you can strengthen your activity with respect to what you are doing, whether it is a toolbox talk or a permit to work system, your incident investigation, your HERA, your PHA, these 5, 6 things, if you can strengthen and say everyone in the company says that, oh, our systems in this is very good, I feel that safety problem can be cracked. But we are not willing to look at that in a very, what I would say, that we are unable to recognize that there is something required for us to improve. You go and ask any company, they'll say, oh, we have permit to work system. But what on the ground, what is the effect of that is something that is questionable. This is what I'm saying. So one has to understand it cannot be a universal solution, Amber, how to improve safety in any company. In some places, it could be just the communication. Some places, it could be leadership issue. Some places, there is I also called something called organizational silence. What is organizational silence? Everyone in the room knows what is the problem, but no one speaks. Because they feel that, it's not just for our country, by the way. Last year, NASA celebrated our nation's Silence Day. Because couple of their rackets have gone down, and then afterwards people came and said, boss, we know the problem. Then why you didn't speak?
Yes.
That is the our nation's silence. So you have to understand what is really making people to behave the way they are behaving, right? Many times it could be leadership. I'm not saying leadership is not an issue. Leadership. Sometimes these are national silence. Sometimes the leaders are having dangerous clarity. So sometimes the issue is too much turnover in the people. So there is no time for people to come up to the our nation level. So each one has to be addressed. But there are, as you very rightly said, there are solutions now. But how do we go about doing it? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Steffi, sir, can you hear us?
Yes. Now we can.
Okay, great. So, sir, your thoughts on this.
Yes. Now, my important safety priorities India must address is one thing, as I already mentioned in the previous meeting also, extending the coverage to the informal sector. The most pressing need legislation to extend the occupational health and safety coverage to all sectors of work life in India, including the unorganized sector. This is fundamental because about around 80 to 90% of the workforce factors are in the informal economy. So we must engage them. The most workers in agriculture, construction, small scale industries, there are lack of adequate health and safety protections. So that is the first thing. Another thing, scaling up the training and capacity building. India faces a critical shortage of occupational health safety professionals. By education, already professionals said that education has to be going inside, because India as it is similar to around 500 countries. Earlier, before independence, we had 500 countries. In Kerala state itself, we have 3 countries: Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, different religion, different caste, different languages. So many diversities are there. So as a uniqueness, it is a little challenging. So we have to scaling up the training, capacity building. So we have to make awareness, OSH policies. The government has to take a lot of initiatives to bring safety professionals, safety educational systems. It should be included in the syllabus also. From the school level itself, we have to nurture that culture. And another one is addressing the higher risk industries, sectors such as manufacturing, chemicals. They are under growing scrutiny due to the frequency of accidents and hazardous working conditions. And key hazards include the respiratory issues may be there, or musculoskeletal injuries, noise-induced problems, hearing loss, chemical exposure. So many things are there. So we have to address the high-risk industries, and also we have to strengthen the enforcement and compliance. Stronger penalties for non-compliance with OHS. That is the only method. If you see the road accidents in Saudi Arabia or any other countries, they are very less. There is strong enforcement. So stronger penalties, stronger enforcement, and compliances only can be, that can be done by regular audits, inspections, and systematic reporting mechanisms. We don't have any data for risk assessment, I just mentioned. We should have a data, we should have a proper reporting systems. That all has to come. Then only slowly we can reduce the injuries. Risk assessment can be done properly. And also we have to leverage the technology and digital solutions, risk prediction models, real-time monitoring systems. We have to use the technology, thereby the predictive technology, predictive logistics analysis, all that things can be utilized. The technology has to be, and finally, simplifying the fragmented legislation. Most of the laws are overlapping. Overlapping jurisdiction makes it is compliance and enforcement maybe a little complex. So that has to be unified. We have MSIC rule, gas cylinder rule, this one, Water Act, Air Act, Environmental Protection Act, Indian Factories Act. There are so many of them. So that has to be, a unified legislation. Some of the laws are overlapping. In BOCW Act, something is saying. The NBC Code, some other things are saying. According to OSHA standards, some other things. Somebody is following OSHA standards, somebody is following NBC standards, somebody is following NFP. That uniqueness has to come, and unified system has to come. And also we have to integrate the occupational health and safety with primary health care. So occupational health services should be it should be integrated with primary health care, ensuring the workers have access to timely, affordable the medical care. That is also important. So we can use this comprehensive method to address the challenges in India, and India can become a beautiful country without much accidents, or zero accidents we have to aim. Thereby the accidents can be reduced.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So Vivek sir, going to you. Yeah.
Yes, Ambar. In fact, almost I possess 35-year experience in industry, and almost I spent 20 years in manufacturing production. Okay, so I have all the experience and how safety is breached. Correct. Okay. One thing, a person who is a leader who is working in a multinational company, his behavior is entirely different. But when he comes to an Indian company, he behaves entirely different. Correct? I was involved in many accident investigations. Okay, in spite of having systems in place, we have training management system in place, we have change management system in place. Before going for any change, we have most of the organization have change management system. When this form comes to the safety department, they give certain recommendations. Here are to be done, hazard identification and risk assessment to be done. Okay, they give the recommendation. Most often, what happens in Indian companies? Okay, I'm not talking about multinational. A change control form comes to you at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock that we have to take batch in the morning tomorrow. This is very urgent. Now you don't have any time. Okay, you have to, if you are giving this recommendation also, it's okay. Recommendation can be, how these can be handled, God knows. Okay, this is only a mere document in Indian. This is very, I'm telling you a bitter truth about Indian industry.
Yes, sir.
System is in place. I investigated many incidents, and the root cause was the behavior issue, violation of the systems. Okay, so unless and until you make your facility, your organization a 5-star hotel or like airport, you cannot control the accident. Or how can you control this? Because top management must be answerable. If in your company, in your organization, this accident happened, what is your role?
Accountability. Okay.
Accountability must be assigned to somebody at the top management. How can you take batch unless the risk assessment is not there? You have system. What is happening today? People are taking ISO 45001. OSHA was there. Okay, they have certification. Yes, sir, we are doing HERA, we are doing ASOP, we are doing this. But accident after that, accident are taking place. Permit to work system is in place. But people violate it. Violations is parallelly it is getting violated. Okay, so my experience is that administration, top management should be very, very strong. If you want your company should be a brand, and if you want incident-free, accident-free company, you must involve wholeheartedly themselves. What I did, during last this session, I told them that we hired Chola also for this. We conducted the training for the top management. We involved top management and conducted the training. We prepared this. We identified the gaps. These are the gaps. We assigned. We prepared an action plan. Okay, go to the shop floor. Do Gamba. Okay, every leader has to do Gamba at least once in a month. Schedule is prepared by us. Okay.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
When you as a senior leader prepare these things for the safety managers or floor managers, do they feel empowered or do they feel a burden that we need to do this also now?
It is mixed. Mostly you can say 75% of reactive. They react. यार ये तो आपका काम है, मेरा काम थोड़ी है, हमारा काम थोड़ी, आप अपना काम हमसे करवा रहे हो, सेफ्टी वालों की क्या जरूरत है जब हमें ही करना है? करेक्ट. यार हमें बैटरी माल पहले बनाना है या फिर हमें प्रोडक्शन पहले करना है या सेफ्टी फॉलो करेंगे? Actually they forget that this safety is the part of this SOP. See, one thing very important, we have SOPs, standard operating procedures in place, but not have safe working procedures. Actually, these must be integrated. You have standard operating procedure, but this must be safe. This is the difference in multinational companies and Indian companies. Multinational companies, they find minor injury. I don't quote a name of a company where there is a small fire in AC. And it was extinguished immediately. And there is a system in that company to have a weekly review with the site, and their management is in US. Okay, so this accident was hid by site head and safety head jointly, because safety head was reporting to site head. So they hide this incident. What happened? Somebody has sent a mail to corporate office, and site head and safety head both were fired immediately. Fired. This is the culture. Can you expect such type of culture in the Indian industry? What we do?
Okay, sir. So,
Amber, I have one viewpoint. Vivek sir, you should not feel anything about my comment. Yeah. What I'm trying to say, I'm not generalizing, but what I'm seeing is that one of the things I feel strongly is that we should improve the capabilities of the EHS personnel themselves. They are unable to stand in front of their superiors and argue their case. Yeah. Why it is happening? See, for example, Amber, if I constantly keep on saying that you are a non-performer, it goes to your mind that you're a non-performer. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely correct, sir. You are right. You are right. So most often this happens. You are absolutely right.
So the other side is playing a very clever game psychologically to weaken you. We should understand. So normally what I'm suggesting is that one is that the capabilities of the safety personnel with respect to challenges at site is also minimal. Why? Because if you look at very dispassionately, he is required to have experience in fire. I'm saying basic electrical, construction, instrumentation, civil, scaffolding, work at height. Like this, some 20 subjects you can define. It's not and first of all, it is not taught. Second is that it is not rudimentary knowledge. I should be able to contribute to minimizing the risk, for which I need to have a deeper knowledge, right? So, because when an accident happens, you immediately say, call the safety guy, and he doesn't know the process, what is that's being followed. How can he immediately give a solution? So, what I am trying to say is that they need to work out a different plan. They need to you need to, I am suggesting to every safety officer 2-3 things. Okay, we can't solve this problem. We can't change the mindset of your leadership overnight. But then there will be some easy wins in any system. So what is that easy win you need to think? The second thing is that every company allocates budgets for maintenance. How cleverly you are using the maintenance means your supplier to bring and do a technical talk rather than they come and just do a say testing of your detectors and sprinklers. See, you need to use your resources very cleverly, and also you need to present your case at different levels, not at the one level. Right? You are defeated in the morning meeting, then you should see how I can reach out to many people. So I feel I'm using this word to many people now. I'm saying constraints should lead to conversations. Right? Constraints should lead to conversations. So safety officer is having all constraints. Nobody wants to listen. And he's only getting problem after problem. But conversation will make things moving. Conversations, what it will do, it will bring some clarity, the problem. Because I don't know what you want. You want accident not to happen. That's your problem. My point is that nobody is following is my thing. So both of us are not talking each other on how do we make things happen at the ground level. So if we find that if the safety manager equips himself with more what I would say capabilities than what he has, he should recognize. He should not, operate from a platform of victim, right? You have to operate from a platform of strength. But how do you do? Because you're psychologically down. You're made psychologically down because every day you are pushed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
so
interesting.
My point is that we should look at this problem because all of you agree that no management will say that we are against safety. You ask, they will not.
No.
Yeah. So then how do we make them fall in our line is the challenge in front of us.
So to
I just want to add this particular platform for India, new technology which we are thinking of. So India is rapidly growing in sector like energy, or you can say hydrogen, LNG, offshore and manufacturing with advanced robots and cobots. So like safety there itself is a new challenge because it's not the safety what we are talking now. It's a different safety altogether where no humans are there, but still is required just to functions all the requirement. I just give one example for electrolyzer business line what we have. Electrolyzer byproduct is oxygen and hydrogen. So mainly hydrogen, and secondary is byproduct is oxygen. So now in present scenario, oxygen is putting into air bag, so matter is not so stringent. But if we think of preserving oxygen which come out of this particular electrolyzer process, then challenges are tremendous. You don't even think of that what level of safety, what level of material integrity is required to handle oxygen at certain temperature and pressure. Because if you have any small cleaning issue, is going to be a fire hazard.
Yeah.
Because any hydrocarbon is going to blast that particular line, and the challenges with respect to safety is to be think of in a different level. Even if we are using hydrogen as a fuel, which is liquid hydrogen, I'm saying, to handle liquid hydrogen as a fuel tank, that particular you can say transporter has to think of liquid hydrogen management safety to the driver, because nobody else other than him can do rescue operations when there is some leakage. So
Sir, on the lighter side, we had a question. Can LPG truck can use hydrogen as a fuel for driving?
Yeah, that is again a problem.
Imagine you are having a LPG bullet driven by a hydrogen.
Is a really big challenge.
Yeah, so those challenges are coming.
Yes.
Similarly, battery storage also. You will appreciate battery
Yeah,
storage also.
yeah.
is
That
a-
also we talked last time. Like battery storage, we started lithium to now changing to the different material altogether for prevent the fire, which we have seen many fires for electric battery. They put into the house and then they're charging and the entire house get fired. And those incidents are very frequent. But so now battery charging and discarding both is a challenge, because now we are keep saying that please do add solar and you use EVs and maximize the use. And at the end of the day, how to discard, just like our mobile phone or electronics items which we think of. You cannot destroy those items.
Yes, yes.
If you destroy your entire laptop, still you can recover the data. So the thing, we can think that how the safety will be there for all this activity with respect to lithium and this hazardous material handling. So
Sure, sir.
it will
Sure,
be a
sir.
challenge.
Yeah, future brings new challenges, right?
Yeah,
So, okay, Vivek, sir, do you want to say something?
Yes, yes. I actually very rightly said by Subbarao sir that we have to. We don't. In fact, this knowledge level and competency of safety officer, it is very important. Correct. So what we do, not we many good industries in pharmaceutical area. So what they do, they pick up the people from production area, right? So in the case of mine, I was picked up from production and I was sent to RLI Kanpur, Regional Institute Kanpur, for doing this 1 year diploma in industrial safety. And then I switched to safety department. Correct. So that safety officer can have the entire knowledge of production, particularly in that area. So what we do, we pick up the safety officers from the similar kind of industry, the officers which have knowledge from pharma sector. Correct. But Amber, uh, one thing we cannot forget about the unorganized sector, MSME. Correct. So in Indore area itself, we have seen during this last 6 months, a lot of incidents have taken place in MSMEs. Okay. So what can we do for that to prevent this accident? What government can do this?
Yeah, sir, I was thinking like small companies, right? They don't have a brand name. First of all, they are not worried about it. Secondly, people don't matter to them. 5 will go, 5,000 will come. There's so much unemployment in India. Okay. People work at such low wages, right? They cannot just leave the job because they have to fulfill their children, their wife, their family, right? So
Yeah,
there's so much,
needs.
basic needs. There's so much constrictions. So if the upper management will say, if you don't do this, okay, I will get my other ones. I mean, there's a cycle, right?
But I have a little suggestion for that. Just I realized, in fact, minimum safety, when we are giving them a license for MSME, we can give certain minimum safety and we can subsidize it also. For example, in that area, in that industrial area, government can create a training center which and training shall be provided should be provided without any cost, free of the cost for MSME sector. Okay. And when they are going to purchase machinery, so minimum machine guarding should be there. Requirement of this, okay, you are going to purchase this machinery and this should be accompanied with this machine guarding. Okay. Basic firefighting system must be there. Okay.
Sir, one thing I was thinking that like every small SME, MSME, there might be corruption, right? So if they want to get ahead from the system, they just pay something and get everything, Every person in the system is getting something everywhere.
Right.
No, see, the issue, Amber, according to me, is not that. See, the point is, it's not that somebody is walking into a factory to commit suicide, right? For that, he need not have to commit inside that factory. He can go anywhere else, right? The point that is coming is that everywhere this question is not publicly asked. Like, for example, we are still a very price-sensitive economy.
True.
Correct. So when there is a price sensitivity, one of the first sacrifices that will be made by any management is safety. So here it is getting, so as someone, one of my seniors beautifully said, safety is desirable but not essential. Listen carefully. Safety is desirable but not essential. Okay. So it is desirable, but it's not essential for selling any product or service. So what happens is, that's why last time I mentioned that the supply chain can play some amount of, some amount of improvement can happen if the supply chain gets strengthened to a great extent, right? So if you want to improve the SME sector, is that at the beginning itself, you can find extinguishers. There is no doubt about that. But then whether they are serviced and available is the question. Yeah, at the beginning there will be, but after 2 years, whether it is serviced or not is the question. Then, of course, there is a lot of compromise on machine guarding, as we don't practice the concept of 360-degree guarding because it's expensive and nobody asks. And nobody talks about the safety features in a machine when we are buying a machine. So unless it's a chain reaction, Amber, it's not deliberately it's being done. One is ignorance, and second is that is not a thing that is it's not an option kind of thing. It's an option, so you can ignore the options. The third is that the buyer or the buyer of the product is never asking how safe you made the product, whether it's not just the safety, even sustainability angle also is the same. But situation is slowly changing, but in a very small way, where you and me are still not able to perceive the the change, if I can put it in such fashion.
Sir,
So there are a lot of people who can play an important role, but still, as they say, sometimes all the stars should come together for something to happen. It's not happening. I would say that way. And not years, decades are rolling by without anything going. No, I just wanted to ask Professor one thing. We talked about having safety as a curriculum. Why not your institute start a 5-day course or a 2-week course for guys who are having 10 years safety experience? It's like, making them update with the technologies and equip them with various things, because basic things are being taught, right? But now I am 10 years into the job, I require different kind of skills. I find that, for me now, soft skills are more important than the technical skills. So, but I'm not getting taught. So can we start more reorientation courses rather than, okay, other courses are important, I'm not saying, because one rough estimate says there are already 150,000 safety officers in the country. I'm saying if 10% of them you are able to make effective, which is say 10,000 to 15,000, some 10% change can happen in the country with respect to safety.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. So we should start with that kind of approaches, so that there is a effect. And also, if all of you observe carefully, it's a perception issue. Like Vivek sir said, why people behave differently in the airport, because all others are behaving same way, I also will behave. Otherwise, I will be an outlier and people will laugh at me. So if all industries are started following some basic things, then definitely things will start improving, one after another. Like you find that sometimes the lane following in some highways is good because all others are following, now using blinkers while changing lanes. Slowly it is coming, the younger generation, right? So I feel some small steps we should take at our level so as to improve, because keep discussing is fine, but it should produce some solution.
Right. So Steffi sir,
Yes.
Yeah,
See,
I just tell you one thing related to advanced technology. Now, what we discussed so far is related to what we know with respect to the traditional knowledge which we have. For example, that safety is in earlier stage is called as investigation. That something happened and then we have a investigations committee, and that committee give us the report. which is nowadays is changed. So total scenario is changed from that particular concept. So now reactive, instead of the reactive, now people are into predictive. So they don't want any incidents to happen. They are thinking of predictive, or they have a preventive safety in place. So now I just give you example for this, like in present refinery. Uh, Normally, there's such incidents, safety incidents are to be discussed in length. But now the sensors, they have a very sophisticated sensors which is in place. They give predictions of any thinning or any cracking damages to the line, and it gives signals before it get failure. So those things are also now, if you see, there is certain standards or softwares are available. If you tell that software that these are my process conditions, and if you design any material, which material is suitable for me to choose, so there they give you a suitable material for the process with respect to the parameters if you provide. So now the safety is going to be the next level. That it is not only the person's driven safety is in the design. So if you add such particular advancement in the system, then normally if you see that safety criteria is not what we are thinking that that it is everybody's responsibility towards people, asset, or the society is not so simple. It is beyond that. So normally when we see the new era, there the predictive and reactive from reactive to predictive is really a challenge for us to go forward. So that is really good. So normally when we think that safety officer is the only person having education, things is no. Now
Yeah.
system itself is educated. So it gives alarm before it happens. So
Yeah.
this is normally there in no man's zone refineries, because nobody going there. And if there is a hazard, maybe it's a safety hazard, or maybe it's any chemical hazard, or it is related to gas, which is toxic gas. So those things are really challenge for us to know. So now reactive to predictive is really a good thing for us to go forward for safety.
Okay, sir. Okay. So I need to bring in Steffi, sir. Sir,
Yeah, yeah.
would you like to answer regarding how can we create such new courses?
Yes, yes, of course. See, in India, we have DG Fastly, Director General of Factory Advisory Service and Labor Institute. They are offering a course, 1 year Advanced Diploma Industrial Safety Engineering in CLI, Central Labor Institute, Mumbai. That is actually the course which is required to become a safety officer. Somebody has to do after engineering or after diploma, the CLI, Central Labor Institute, Diploma Industrial Safety Engineering. They are already running that course. And apart from that, RLI, Regional Labor Institutes in Chennai, Faridabad, Kanpur, and Kolkata, they are running. Apart from that, state governments are under Technical Education Department. They are doing 1 year Advanced Diploma Industrial Safety Engineering. Apart from that, national safety councils of various chapters. We have Kerala chapter, Tamil Nadu chapter, Maharashtra chapter. All state have chapters of national safety council. These all chapters can promote safety. We are doing a 2 weeks program on hydrogen safety in the different tools used for safety, different hazard identification tools, behavior-based safety. So a safety officer can enhance their or refresh their knowledge or new techniques, or this type of enhancement of knowledge can given to the safety officers, and more enforcement also has to come from the government side. More safety officers are quite notified, qualified, competent. Competent means skills, knowledge, ability, talents, experience. So this the 4 things has to be added in a safety officer appointment. And now I don't know, they are following the government policy rules to appoint a safety officer, a qualified, competent safety officer. According to Indian Factories Act 1948, a safety officer, a notified safety officer qualification is either he has to complete a BTech safety and fire engineering or engineering any branch, CLI, RLI, or state government diploma. So that is the knowledge level and their experience, and this type of training courses can 1 week workshop, 2 weeks workshop, DG Fastly, all that, and international level ILO recommendation, ILO conventions. They are giving a framework, adding safety things for the country. So government
Right,
also
right.
can take a major importance, especially DG Fastly and all.
Yeah, the question is who pays for that?
No. See, it's a wish, Professor. It's not happening, right? You and me know very well. But
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is not what we are talking about. What is required in 70s and 80s. 2026, we require different things, right? Uh, so my argument is entirely different in a different level I'm talking about. When I say refreshing courses, it is not about the basic levels. It is there because they are practicing. They know about it. But they require different level of skill sets to challenge the managements which are much more educated than them, right? So how do we go about doing it is the question. Okay,
Sir,
so
there is a caveat here. You said the management, upper management, who is much more experienced or educated than them. That is not totally true, you know.
no, in the sense, what I'm saying is that you need to be able to present your argument. It is appealing to him because you should understand that because what you are trying to convey. First of all, the time given to you is very less, right? And then if you are not prepared well yourself and you are not
I
understanding the
understand.
concept, you
Yes.
don't know why it is required. It is, if you are saying that this is required as per law, first thing in my mind it comes is that I don't want to follow, right? That kind of thing. So because I feel okay kind of thing. So that is a different thing. See, other thing is that we also noticed, this is our experience, is that the outward behaviors that what we exhibited by people, right, like not wearing or not following and all that, is driven by a belief system. You know, if we are not affecting the belief system, what is a belief system? That in this place it is done like this only, or I have done like this forever, right? Or nothing will happen. These are the kind of belief systems. So how do we affect those belief systems is more important, Amber. Then only the behavior will change. Otherwise, both at the operating level, that means the associates as well as the supervisors and manager, they continue to exhibit what it is. So that's where that is where the requirement of on-site presence and understanding why they are behaving the way they are behaving is very
Right,
important to bring about a change.
Okay, sir. So Vivek, sir, your final words. How should top management approach the safety problem in India?
Yes. See, Amber, in fact, I got an opportunity to visit a company. Basically, it is a good point. So I just quote its name. It was operating that time almost 10 years back. It was in Malanpur industrial area, and company name is Dulux Paint. Correct. So when I got opportunity, one of my friends was working there. So I found that everything was silent and operations were running smoothly. Everything was. So I just asked him about this. I just inquired about him, staff, and who is looking after this affluent management system, ETP, and what is your team size. He told me that I am alone. Just because of this requirement of the Factory Act, I am appointed, and my work is to just take to communicate to this. You can say a postman.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
So why can't we imbibe safety in our job? For example, if I am driving motorcycle, I must know when to change the brake. What are these signals? These meaning of these signs at when and how much speed I should adopt that time when I am driving this. Okay, when should I apply brake? Suddenly, when I should know to change my stepney if my car gets punctured. Correct. So I should not be dependent on safety officer or safety department. This is not my job. Because especially in chemical industry, people are handling with chemicals, but they must know about these chemicals. This is their prime responsibility. Important thing is rightly said by Subbarao sir. This is related to behavior. Okay, when I used to, I told you that spend more than 20 years in production, okay, people hardly come to training classes. They already have excuse. Okay.
Okay.
At senior level also, they don't allow their person to go attend this training because their production, their work will hamper.
Right.
So, for me, it is just administration. It is just accountability of top management. They must ensure there should not be any accident. If accident happen, the accountability and responsibility must be assigned because company is spending money. We have the systems in place. We are spending money. And even then, if accidents are taking place, so is responsible.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, yeah. So, I think we should take a break for today because I think safety in India is such a big part of our lives that we can talk for it like for days, you know. So some of the points which I found interesting today, like diversity and unity. India is a very big country with so much different languages. So communication becomes a key, you know. Then there are certain, like sir said, Indore is a clean city. So it should take the lead in presenting or making more models which can be covered by other states and cities. Then, you know, improvement in roads. So I have seen new expressways being developed, but people drive opposite. You know, there are everything, Tonga work, bike, everything is going in opposite direction. So there's accidents, you know. So new society, new risk, new battery technology, new risk, right? Empowering middle management, like sir said, is very important. It is like operating with less power, creating networks inside a company so that you can push for more reforms. So that is also a very important part. So combining everything, it is still the most hotly debated topic, I think, in India and the world. But I really appreciate all of you joining today and giving your perspective on this topic. Thank you. I wish you great time ahead and have a nice day. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.